All right, folks, it's that time of the show where we bring in a guest to talk some game. And today we've got an absolute legend in the building. You know him as two-time heavyweight champion and one of the most feared knockout artists to ever step in the ring. Y'all give it up and say, let's go, champ, for Shannon Briggs. What's up, cousin?
Ooh, let's go, champ.
What's up, cousin? How you feeling, man? You good?
I'm really good, champ, man. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Man, we appreciate it. I see that shirt says the Ville, but that sunshine says Jersey. I just want to acknowledge where we are geographically speaking.
South Orange in the house. South Orange.
Hey, that's funny, man. You know what? I got some questions for you in regards to your Jersey tenure, especially because you were once featured on the Fuji's album. We'll get into that in just a moment. Maria, you want to kick things off for us?
Yeah, I want to start off. I know we were going to talk about some of the things that you're working on, but I want to start this interview off pretty funny, Shannon. And I want you to take us through the fight between you and Mike Tyson in Brownsville. How special is y'all's relationship?
He's the best. He's the best. You know, the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. 19 years old, he became champion. He transformed boxing, making it exciting again. And, you know, for the most part, me being from Brownsville, looking up to him and him being a reason why I kind of got into boxing, I thought it was, you know, just knowing him is amazing. Let alone, he was in Brownsville one day. I was in Brownsville one day. I called him. I called my boy. My boy was like, yo, Mike Tyson in front of the building. He right here. I was like, where I put him on? So he gave the phone to Mike. Mike was like, yo, Shannon, F you. I was like, what? I didn't know what was going on. I was like, yo, Mike, it's me. He was like, yeah, Shannon, yo, you will. And I couldn't really hear him, but it was mad people outside. So I was like, so he hung up. So I called right back. So my man was like, yo, Mike tripping. I said, yo, go back over there with the phone. He went back. He was like, yo, Mike, it's Shannon. He was like, yeah, Shannon, you will. And he ain't know I was in Brownsville. Excuse me. My boy ain't know I was in Brownsville. I jumped in the car. 5 carloads. We get in the car. We get to the front of my building where I was born and raised. And when we get there, I jump out the car. I'm like, yo, Mike, what up? And he's like, yo, what up? And we started, you know what I'm saying, slap boxing. It was great. It was great. But what it did, and I was just playing, but what it did for the hood and for the neighborhood was that'll never be again happen. It's like seeing Muhammad Ali and Joe Louis, you know what I'm saying, on the corner having fun, the camaraderie, showing love, showing that we love each other. So that's why, you know, my relationship with Mike and all these guys are very important, you know.
Growing up in Brownsville, you know, you and Mike, I'm sure you and Mike, you know, not even sure. I know that you and Mike had a really, really tough upbringing. So was making that transition into boxing, right? Becoming a full-grown adult man and now having perspective. Is that the reason why you started Future Champions? And tell us a little bit about that platform in which you're trying to have a school to educate the youth.
Yes, champ. Well, two things that happen simultaneously. I'm actually building a gym in Brownsville, Brooklyn. The address is 1750 Pickens Avenue, where this will be a boxing academy, where you can go learn to be a referee, a cut man, a cut woman, a timekeeper, sports commentator. You know what I mean? Everything in the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? Manager, promoter, all can be learned. Even concessions. You know what I'm saying? It's 15,000 square foot building, 3 floors. So my goal has always been, look, I knew everybody can't be a boxer, right? Everybody don't want to box. But if you knew how much referees make, how much they travel yearly, like I got a friend who's from Brooklyn, one of the best referees of today, Tony Weeks. He's from Brooklyn. He actually goes through 2-3 passports a year because he's doing shows everywhere. Imagine, you know, you're a woman, you're in school, you become a nurse assistant or a nurse, and you say, you know what, I want to learn how to stop cuts. And then now here you are, you become a premier, or you're making money because every fighter every night needs a cut man or a cut woman. So this is a job. This is how I envision the academy, a trade school for boxing. But really, to be honest with you guys, think about the team. Think about the team. You're talking about a neighborhood that produced Mike Tyson, Riddick Bowe, Shannon Briggs, Curtis Stevens, Danny Jacobs, the great light heavyweight champion Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, Bruce Carrington, champ. This neighborhood breed, and we never had a gym. No gym. Mike Tyson, Riddick Bowe, and Shannon Briggs, no place in the world In this solar system has produced 3 heavyweight champions from the same neighborhood. Brownsville is 1.3 miles in size. It's the worst neighborhood in Brooklyn. It's the Bronx of New York of Brooklyn. It's the entire Bronx in Brooklyn. Is our Bronx in Brooklyn. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, I said to myself, yo, there's got to be something in the water. It's got to be something in the water that it can produce this lineage of champions, right? Of fighters with no gym. You know what I realized was in the water? I found out what was in the water. Pain.
Speaking of the younger people, who are some of the younger boxers that you really like right now?
I like them all, to be honest with you. You got Shakur Stevenson. He's from Jersey. You know, he's a rising star. You got Gervonta Davis. And a lot of young kids, aside from these guys, that aren't being seen. And that's the purpose of me doing this as well. It's because I want to give a spotlight on kids who don't get a shot. There's some really good kids out there that can really fight, but they don't have opportunity. There's not enough platforms, but there's enough fans, but there's not really enough platforms that they are familiar with and that they like. You know what I'm saying? That they like. That's branded towards them. You got a great show, entertainment, and then all of a sudden, who's the commentator? Oh, Solo. You know, who's the let's get ready to rumble? No, Oh, Solo, he gonna do his own thing. You know, so he gonna that's my boy, by the way. He's helping us. Michael Buffer, he's helping us with the gym. He's helping us. He's gonna do a whole thing with commentating. Tony Weeks is gonna do it with refereeing.
Let's talk about boxing today. All right. For many people, Floyd Mayweather changed where it now seems like all boxers want to take the path that most helps them remain undefeated. Do you feel like boxers ducking risky fights is a result of Floyd's success, or has this always been the case?
There's always been a history of, fighters who choose the right fights. There's always going to be that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's the right time. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just styles make fights. So maybe a guy doesn't, you can't beat everybody, champ. Some people just look how much problems Muhammad Ali had with Ken Norton. He couldn't do nothing with Ken Norton. Other people went in there and did Ken Norton filthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, George Foreman, Jerry Cooney. A lot of people was like, give me Ken Norton. But Ali couldn't do nothing with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's sometimes it's like that. And, I think Floyd did the right thing for himself and his career. And look at him. He's still going, still able to perform, speak well, and make a living, as even doing exhibitions and all that.
You brought up Shakur Stevenson earlier, Shannon, and
Big Jersey, Nork in the building. What's up? My fault. Go ahead. My bad.
And he's so vocal on social media. We covered him a couple of weeks ago when he got into it with Cameron and Mace. What do you make, though, of guys, these younger guys, kind of standing up for themselves on social media?
Yeah, it's just social media. Just talk, have fun, fight for yourself. Why not? You better talk your stuff, you know what I mean? And, that's good. Listen, as long as they talk about you, that's all that's important, right? At the end of the day, we see people do some atrocious things and still be able to campaign. And some people get, what's they call that? When they kind of like blacklist you, what they call it? I forgot, but it's a new term.
Blackball?
Nah, blackball is a new term for it. They call canceled.
Oh.
Canceled. Yeah, they call it canceled now. So once they get canceled, but you can come back, fight back, champ. You know what I'm saying? Fight back. That's my road motto.
For sure. Speaking of people whose names are quite prevalent on the internet, man, you had the opportunity to train Logan Paul for his fight against KSI. He and his brother Jake Paul have made insane amounts of money by existing outside of the traditional realm of the sport. Do you think influencer boxing is helping or hurting the sport?
I think it helped big time. I'm one of the reasons you have it today. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but
go ahead.
I trained them. I trained both of them boys. I got them in the box. I thought it'd be great because I said, yo, they got a fan base. You know what I'm saying? And they introduced something to their fan base out of nowhere. And their fan base, not all of them at first was like, but they took to it. And look what they did for the sport of boxing. These guys have brought in millions of kids from all over the world. Literally, I've traveled in the last year or two to Saudi Arabia, England, Turkey, Uzbekistan, and everywhere I go, daily, kids come up to me and say, let's go, champ. Or they say, hey, you train Jake and Logan Paul. I'm 52,000 years old. I'm 52,000 years old, and I got kids who come up to me and say, hey, champ. Hey, what's up, champ? Oh, you train? I'm thinking, okay, they know me from boxing. They didn't even know I was a boxer. They're like, oh, you train Jake and Logan Paul. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. It's like the kids who don't know that like Ice-T was a rapper or Ice Cube was a rapper. At some point, that transition happens and people just know you for what you're currently doing. But what did you see in Jake and Logan Paul that even made you want to get invested? And do you feel like they can actually become true contenders?
Fans. I seen fans. And, like I said, some of your fans may say, oh, you try something different. It's like me. I start a cooking show right now. Which I've done in the past. I had a thing called In the Kitchen with the Champ many years, 12 years ago, and people was like, love it. And to this day, I still hear people say, yo, Champ, do the videos in the kitchen when you had the music and you was making smoothies and all that. Go back to that. I'm like, maybe. But for instance, if I go to cooking, right, and some of my fans, my boxing fans are going to be like, I ain't messing with Shannon, he cooking now or whatever. But what if I blow up in cooking? What if my fans might not even know, some of them, that I was a boxer? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like some of your fans went with some of their fans went, but they got the whole world. Some of their
But hold on, Shannon, can Jake and Logan Paul be true contenders in the sport?
Not at this point, no, in my opinion.
Okay.
But I believe that had they continued on my plan, and I'm not trying to sound egotistic, and I'm keeping it real with you. I'm not. I had a plan, which was they took part of the plan. They're using part of which is fighting MMA guys. That's what I told them. I said, listen, you got to fight MMA guys. They got a bigger fan base, and they're gonna want to kick your butt. You know what I'm saying? And they're not really good at boxing. You know what I'm saying? They're good at wrestling. So I was like, that's the best way to build you. They were going that route. They got off. They went on for Tommy Fury. He got beat up pretty much. You know what I'm saying? That kind of messed it up. But could he have become a legit contender, Jake? Yes. Had he, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to even say it's too late. I don't know. But I think that, again, I told y'all earlier, I think that what makes a champion and what's in the water is pain. You know what I'm saying? They ain't dealing with no pain. They ain't dealing with no pain. You know what I'm saying? So can you become a legit contender without that? It's highly unlikely. You know what I'm saying? If you rich, you got bread, this take you having missed meals, having seen your moms in bad situations, and pain. New York State, you got the Bloods, the Crips, you got this different gangs, GDs, and then you got Brownsville. Because they predominate most of the jails. It's everybody from Brownsville. In the women's jail and in the men's jail upstate. Right now, there's a jail on 3 blocks away from the gym. It's called Crossroads. And they have, right now, is at capacity and a 70% homicide rate in the prison. It's a juvenile jail 3 blocks from the gym. I'm trying to bring a program called From the Jail to the Gym to get these people in the jail to learn how to be promoters, managers. They instigators. If you're in a gang or you're in a crew and you're an instigator, you're a promoter. Instigate, promote. So you're a promoter.
That's Don King. That's the Don King formula, right?
Listen, I always say, I don't like to speak on the dead, but Don King committed 2 vicious crimes of unaliving people, and he became a billionaire. He went on to become a billionaire. He promoted the Jacksons, James Brown, the great Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes. He is the greatest promoter that ever lived. The greatest promoter that ever lived in history is Don King. Say what you want. Entertainment-wise, the man did his thing. He promoted Michael Jackson. Get what I'm saying? So I'm saying that to say this. In the prisons, in at your lowest, boxing is the only thing that you could walk in and become a billionaire. Understand me? You can't go into the NFL and say, hey, I'm working here. I want to get a manager license. I want to get a team. You can't go to the NBA. You can't go to MLB. You can't go to no sport, MLS, soccer, and say, you know what? I'm going to go online, get a license, and I'm a manager. Get online, I'm a promoter. Get online, I'm a trainer. Whatever you can. Listen, for a trainer, all you got to do is get a bucket and a towel, put the towel over your shoulder like so, and walk in with the bucket, and just sit down and just look around like this. Somebody gonna come over and say, "Hey, yo, hey champ, can you help? Can you tie my gloves?" And you're gonna say, then somebody gonna say, "Hey, yo, if you looking at some kid hitting the bag and you do like this, you make a gesture like he's not doing good, he's gonna come over and ask you, hey, what do you think?" And that begins your career as a trainer. You could then that night somebody say, "Hey, I got called for a fight. Man, they just called me. Hey, that maybe can you help me? You never was nothing in boxing." And then you say, and now you in the corner of a guy going to the ring all because you pretended that you were somebody. I seen it happen 4 dozen times. So
yeah, for sure.
I wanted to go back to Jake Paul because he's going to fight Mike Tyson in November, right? And I wanted to ask you, how big of a moment is this going to be, or is this just another one of those
cash grabs?
Nah, it's a win. It's a win-win for Mike and it's a win for boxing. It's a win for Mike and his family. It's a win for Jake and his family because they're gonna make money. They're gonna entertain. That's what this is. So they're gonna bring his fan base and Mike's fan base. And what is this circus? The great heavyweight champion Mike Tyson fighting some YouTuber kid? What? Everyone's gonna tune in, and that was the goal. You know what I'm saying? Imagine Mike being almost 60 years old can still make this type of money. That's unheard of, unreal. Don't Ali wish he could have done this? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. So there's been a lot of debate in sport about which athletes can transition and translate into other sports, right? So basketball and football players were going at it, talking about, who was more likely to have success in the opposite sport. But in the world of fighting, right, a lot of people feel like MMA right now is where the toughest dudes on earth reside. We saw Francis Ngannou go down to the wire with Fury. I thought that he actually beat Tyson Fury. But who do you feel like would have more success transitioning from MMA? Who would have more success? MMA fighters transitioning into boxers or boxers transitioning into MMA?
Boxers can't go fight no MMA. I tried. Boxers can't do no MMA. I tried.
Okay.
I won, but he kicked me so hard. Oh, man, I couldn't believe it. We can't curse on here, right? Oh, man.
Nah, you can curse. We bleep it out. Don't worry.
Oh, man, he kicked the shit out of me. For real. He kicked me so hard, I couldn't believe it. I woke up the next day. Everything was fine. I went to bed. I was like, man, that hurt. I went to sleep that night. But when I woke up in the morning, my entire whole leg was black and blue. No, for real. The whole leg from my hip all the way down to my ankle was black and blue. I said, yo, get me out of here. I was like, yo, get me out of here. I got out of Japan. I never went back.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, Champ, we were talking before we started the episode about your social media platform. You are a true comedian on it. Where did this start? Like, when did you realize, like, I like trolling people on social media?
Oh, man. Now, to be honest with you, it's just what I've always done my entire career. It's just, we didn't have smartphones. I was always trying to psychologically get into my opponent's head because I was just a student of Muhammad Ali. I'm just a student of the great Ali. I did everything. I got into boxing pretending, telling people that I was a boxer. I had already watched Ali, and I went to the gym, and I was imitating him, and in doing so, they was like, oh, you fought before. So instead of just saying, no, I lied, I was like, yeah, I went with the story, just like anybody could do in as a trainer. You know what I'm saying? I went with the story. I was like, yeah, I did something, I do this, but I was only lying and pretending. They knew, obviously. They was like, but it looked pretty good. They took me to a fight just to spectate, and when we got there, they said, you fighting. I said, no. They said, no, you fighting or you got to walk. I said, no, please. I was in Staten Island. I didn't know what to do. I was a kid. I was 16. And I said, please. They said, no, you fighting or you got to walk home. You lied and said you boxed. I had just got there like a month, 2 months, maybe it was like 3 months, but they was tired of me talking. I was always, talking. They was sick of me. So they got me in a fight, and I had to fight that night. They cut my T-shirt. They cut the sleeves off. I fought in sneakers and some little guy's shorts. The dude who was fighting. They was tight shorts. They was tight shorts. I had on sneakers and a t-shirt, a V-neck t-shirt. We cut off the sleeves. Yo, the guy was beating me up. I was like, I didn't know what to do. The first round, the trainer looked at me and said, "You're gonna walk home." I got up because the guy put me down with a body shot. I was on the ground. I was gonna stay down. I was just like, I lost. The trainer said, "You're gonna walk home." I got up. I fought. When I came, people started calling me Ali because he said do all that stuff you be doing in the gym. So I started pretending like I was Ali, and I was winning. People started saying Ali. I dropped the dude. Everybody went crazy. He got up. I won a decision. Yo, I had never won nothing in my life. I wasn't good in school. I never won nothing. I never won a trophy. That night I won a trophy. I fell asleep with it in the car going over the Brownsville Bridge when we was going back. My adrenaline, we stayed there for 2 hours after the win. I couldn't believe it. And my adrenaline was crashing and I was going over the Brownsville with the trophy. By the way, at the time, I was homeless. Yeah, I was homeless at the time. Yeah.
All right, well, we got to wrap this up, but I can't let you get out of here. Quick, Shannon, all right? How the hell did you get on the Fuji's album, The Score? Tell me something that you saw during the making of such a classic album, fam.
I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn, born and raised, but my mother's sister, Louise, lived here in Jersey and Newark on Camden Street. So I grew up on Camden Street. Every time I could come to my aunt's house, I love her to death. She loved me to death to this day. She had a lot of kids. She lived on Camden Street, and then they moved to Irvington. And I know Jersey like I know Brownsville. Real talk. Like, this is my home. I grew up going to get my school clothes, even though I go back to Brooklyn on Market Street. You know what I'm saying? Broad and Market. So,
downtown, yeah.
For me, Jersey is home. I don't feel no different. And you can see me walking around anywhere in Jersey. You be like, yo, why I love it. I'm comfortable. So to say this, I met the Fujis and I took a liking to them and I said, these kids got talent. You know what I'm saying? I can smell talent. I know talent like I know boxing. And I said, yo, these kids got talent. I was right. I bet on them kids being a winner and they win. They put me on the soundtrack and it's all history. I love them. They're great people.
So we're going to do this or that, right? So just give me a one-word answer. I'm going to throw some names, some questions out to you. You just say this or that, all right? That's all we doing. All right, first up, Ali or Tyson?
Ali.
Kendrick or Drake?
Kendrick.
Okay, Floyd Mayweather or Sugar Ray Leonard?
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Better athlete, football or basketball players?
Basketball players.
Battle of Brooklyn, Biggie or Jay-Z?
Biggie.
Tougher neighborhood to grow up in, Bed-Stuy or Brownsville, Brooklyn?
Brownsville.
More vicious, Shannon Briggs with locks or Shannon Briggs with the baldy?
Shannon Briggs with locks.
All right, cool, man. That's it. All right, one more. The tougher fighter, boxers or MMA fighters?
Can't compare. Two different.
That's a cop-out.
Two different sports.
All right. Hey, Shannon, man, we appreciate you so much for joining us on The Fumble. We appreciate your presence, your insight, your passion for all things. Thank you for joining us, family. So appreciative of you. Thank you.
And thank you, champ. You the champ. Let's go, champ.
Yeah, we are so excited to see what you got planned for future champions. And make sure you at home check out the Brownsville Boxing Academy. Both are doing big things for the next generation. Drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see next time on The Fumble. Let's go, champ.